Very good evening to all of you. I hope I'm audible and my screen is visible to all of you. Is my screen visible? Anyone in the house, please let me know if
Yes,
my
yes.
screen is visible.
Yes,
Okay,
you're audible, your screen is visible.
thank you very much. Thank you. So we are about to start now. As we all know, this is the third day of this faculty development program, and we already have seen a lot of very good presentation in the first 2 days. We already have seen five presentations on different topics, and all those five presentations were really very informative, very good, and we all have gained a lot. And today also we have three presentations. We have three experts, so, ladies and gentlemen, very good evening. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all once again in this session of our faculty development program. Our first speaker for today is uh, Miss. Our first speaker today is Professor Akhila N. She is professor at Padmashree Institute of Management and Sciences, Karnataka. Professor Akhila will enlighten us on the crucial topic of market research and analysis. So, the first topic today will be market research and analysis. In today's rapidly evolving market landscape, understanding the intricacies of market research and data interpretation is paramount for identifying lucrative opportunities and meeting customers' needs effectively. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Professor Akhila N. Over to you, Professor.
Thank you, sir. A very good evening to one and all present here. It gives me an immense pleasure to be a resource person for today's event. I take this opportunity to thank the conveyor of this event, Dr. Amir, and CMOI as in association with Dayanand Sagar College for conducting this FDP. Just to wrap with, the day one, it is all about the introduction to the innovation, fundamentals of innovation. Day two, business model canvas, creativity and brainstorming. So the speakers have given a very good insight on the roots of marketing. So let me start with an anecdote. So you take an example of a Nokia. So right, when it comes to 18th and 19th century, Nokia, they were very good in the marketing. So because of the obsolescence of technology, they didn't upgrade the technology. They think that their customers are very loyal to their product, and the customers, they don't want to shift to the other product. But finally, what has happened to Nokia? That's why identification of market opportunity plays a very important role. I'm Professor Akhila. Today, I will be sharing with you the insights of market research analysis. I will be covering the identification of market opportunity and customer validation techniques. So there is a very good saying in the marketing: marketers have to stop reporting on the activities and start reporting on the business outcomes. So, when it comes to the identification of market opportunity, opportunity is a word which plays a very important role in identifying the market. Opportunity, it is an essential characteristics of an entrepreneur. So, when the opportunity is favorable to the market, definitely the market will get succeed. But how to arrive this opportunity? The basic or the traditional marketing trend, it is always generating the ideas, screening the process, and formulating the concepts. But in a modern days, we have to focus even on the boosting of the sales. When it comes to the boosting of the sales, the entrepreneur has to focus the customer segmentation and behavioral analysis. So here in customer segmentation and behavioral analysis, they have to focus mainly upon the demographic, geographic, identifying the customer segment, understanding the customer market, tailoring the marketing strategy, and customizing the product offers. So here I will be giving you an example of Zudio. So they are Zudio, you know, right? Zudio, it is very famous for a fast fashion brand. Okay, they have taken time as a real winner. So the very good marketing strategies of Zudio is affordability, wide range of products, shopping experience, and marketing strategy. When it comes to the affordability, Zudio offers a high quality products. So, but it is often affordable prices. So take an example of young and the middle class people. So instead of going to H&M and instead of going to Peter England, they look for affordability. So they want the high quality products at an affordable prices. That is why the Zudio won the hearts of the millions of the people. Next, we have the wide range of products. So when it comes to the Zudio, Zudio, this sells wide range of the products. So including the clothing, footwear, and even the accessories. So not only for men, even for the women and even for the children's also. So here it is just like a one-stop shopping center. So next we have this shopping experience. As I told you, because of the affordability and wide range of products, so this Zudio, they have more than 200 outlets. When it comes to the marketing strategy, so obviously they will be reaching when it comes to what the Zudio or whichever the company is there. So their strategy is to focus on the targeted audience. How they will focus? They will focus through what the television or the print or the social media. But here in Zudio, word of mouth plays a very important role. This is their very good marketing strategy. And when it comes to what the focus on tier of 2 or 3, 4 cities, so they mainly focused upon the growing population and growing demand for affordable fashion. And one good thing about the Zudio is Zudio, it is also committed to the social responsibility and sustainability. The company supports many social initiatives and is working on to reduce the environmental impact. That is why the Zudio till now it is running good and it is in a profitable manner. So this is the best example for consumer segmentation and behavioral analysis. So Zudio has taken time is a real winner for them. So next, second most important thing when it comes to the identification of marketing, it is a purchase situation analysis. Being an entrepreneur, you should know when, where, and how the customer purchase the product. So when do the people need or want your product or services? Where do the people make their purchase and how do they pay? So here I will be giving you the example of Blinkit. So according to the survey, nearly 62% of Indian consumers, they prioritize for the fast delivery for online grocery purchase. So Blinkit identify it as a gap analysis. So, you know, right, when it comes to the busy schedule and the busy lives, so when it comes to the modern
Excuse me, ma'am. Are you
urban life,
sharing the screen, ma'am?
so,
Are you sharing the screen, ma'am?
yes, sir.
But we cannot see a screen. A screen is not shared.
No, sir, we can see the screen. I can also see the screen.
See, screen is
Okay,
there.
okay,
Both the
okay.
screen is there. One is yours and one is Akhila ma'am's. So if option is given, we can look at Akhila madam's.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Please continue, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes, when it comes to Blinkit, so Blinkit, according to the study, 62% of Indian consumers prioritize for the fast delivery for online goods and services. Okay, Blinkit identified this as a gap analysis. So they just succeeded in this market. So, right, when it comes to the busy lives and busy schedule, now in a modern urban life, because of the hectic schedule and because of the limited time, consumers, especially the young and professional and the families, they often struggle to find dedicated time for grocery shopping. And when it comes to the shifting priorities, so it takes time. It is a time consuming for us. Like take an example of we involve in the planning, we involve in list making. So this gap, this Blinkit, they took it as an advantage and they entered into the market. And look at the tagline of the Blinkit, 10-minute delivery. So this lightning fast services eliminates the need of the extensive grocery planning. Convenience at your fingertip. So if I want something, so if I want an evening snacks, so within a second, I can go to the this app and I can, what we call it as, I can order so that within 10 minutes of a time, I will be getting the delivery of the product. This is how the Blinkit make succeeded in the market. So especially in the Indian grocery, Blinkit plays a very important role. And this is how the entrepreneur should focus upon the purchase behavioral analysis. And next we have this direct competitor analysis. When it comes to the direct competitor analysis, so entrepreneurs should know which brand are growing and why it is growing. How are they marketing their offerings? What is the unique value position? What competitive advantage that they have to overtake? So here I will be just giving you an example. I just give you an example of IKEA. Right, IKEA is one of the most innovative companies of 21st century. So furniture is being localized in business. IKEA is turning the local business furniture into global business. And today you can see the IKEA revenue, it is $45 billion. I'm not talking about the growth of the company. Yes, sir, in fact, but the thing is that their psychological strategy. So here, the psychological strategy plays a vital role in the business. So Daniel is a person, he conducted and experimented in MIT students. He asked the students to choose a plan for subscription for international magazine called Economist. He has given the three options. One is the digital version. So it is of $1.59, and print version, it is of $1.25, and print plus digital version, it is of $1.25. So here, majority of the students choose print plus digital version. So 84% students choose print plus digital version, and 16% students choose digital version, and 0% students choose print version. So here, the second option was completely zero. And he made some changes because nobody was buying the second option. He removed the second option. So the same option he has taken to the next class and he asked the students. So the digital version, $59, 68% of students has given the vote, and print plus digital version, it is of $125. Only 32% of the students have given the vote. What is the magical thing about it? It is an unnecessary option. So, and this unnecessary option we call it as in what? Decoy effect. Okay, I will give you one more example, popcorn, right? So if you go to the mall and all, so you will be having, especially when it comes to the movie, we like to eat popcorn. So we have three category of popcorn. One, it is a small size, medium size, and large size. We never think about the rupees or the amount when it comes to paying to the popcorn. So we always prefer large size, whether it is of a 750 rupees or 700 rupees. Whether we are paying overpay or not, we never bother about it. So this decoy effect will never applicable for the popcorn industry. But similarly, if the same popcorn example, if I have given in the street market, it will never work. Okay. So here you should know how you have to apply this decoy effect in a right way. So IKEA, they have made a genius application. So they have this three option cabinets, that is A, B, and C. A, it is of $1.40, and B, it is of $1.60, and C, it is of $1.65. A, small place, so you have the budget product and the greater value for the money. And B, $1.60, large cabinet, but higher the price, but no premium and no extra compartments. But when it comes to the C, so we have $65, $65, and it is of a premium product, large space, and you will be getting a complimentary product, a complimentary compartments. So here, B acts as a decoy effect. When you choose A and B, C looks better for us. Okay, so I can understood this. So a person, 22-year-old guy, so when he got a job, so when he moves to the Mumbai, so being a bachelor, he always prefer cabinet A because it is a budget friendly and it is having a greater value. As his once he get married, once he get a promotion, he definitely look for what product C. So I can know the customer behavior. So balancing the profit and balancing the brand value plays a very important role. It is a greatest task because IKEA, they are having 445 stores with 30 different countries. So balancing profit and a brand value, it is a greatest task. So IKEA team studies different countries' aspects, starting from average balcony size to average spoon size. This is done because IKEA want to fit into the cultural framework of the country. So consistently, IKEA learn the customer reaction. They started keeping very close eye on customer spending habits. This is how IKEA started balancing between the brand value and the profit. So next we have this complementary product and service analysis. So, right, when it comes to the diversification of the product, so whenever you start a company, so your intention is to run a business forever. Profit is the main motive of your company. So when you start one product, diversification plays a very important role. So that is a complementary product which we are looking for. So when it comes to the identification of the market, entrepreneurs should focus upon complementary product and service analysis. So here, entrepreneurs should understand how customers use the product in conjunction with others and how they develop the new offering or redesign of the product, how they are planning to sell it. Here, I will be giving you the example of PepsiCo company. So Pepsi, right? So they are meant for what certain class of beverage. So Pepsi, they are into the manufacturing of the Lays and they are into the manufacturing of Mountain Dew. If the Pepsi raises their price, obviously they reduce the Mountain Dew price. So the customers will prefer Mountain Dew instead of Pepsi. So whenever you introduce a product, you have to introduce the complementary products. So next is the diversification analysis. So when it comes to the identification of market, entrepreneurs should know the diversification analysis. What is this diversification all about? Diversification means, so once you are into the field, take an example of Tata. So they are into the manufacturing of steel, they are into the manufacturing of motors. Now we can see Tata, they are in the field of Tanishq. Tata, you have the Docomo. Tata, you have the Zudio. Tata, you have the Mesbu. So they have wide range of product. And this is what we call it as and what diversification of the business. Once you get a profit, you should not keep that profit. So what you have to do, you have to start investing, and that is what we call it as and what diversification. So when it comes to the identification of market, diversification plays a very important role for the entrepreneur. So here the entrepreneur should know, do you have the capacity to diversify? So if you want to diversify, what kind of brand and what kind of new industry that you are looking for? Do the potential financial gains? Is there is any risk in the diversification? These are the things you have to look forward. And I will be just giving you an example of Amazon. So when it comes to the Amazon have a very good diversification strategy. So first is the customer focus and data insight. When it comes to customer focus, so Amazon mainly looking for customer-centric business. What is this customer-centric business? So customer-centric business is nothing but they look upon the customer behavior and the preferences and their experiences and the targeted offering. And this Amazon, they mainly focused on the logistic excellence. What is this logistic excellence? You know, right? So Amazon, they are into the robotics, they are into the computer version, so and the customer services. When it comes to the technology innovation, you know, right? The Amazon, they have wide range of products. So they have Kindle, they have this Eco, they have so many venturing. They started going for new venturing activities. Jeff, he said, according to his philosophy, work backwards and scale forward. So if I want to read a story book, so I used to carry a hard book up. So instead of that, now I have a Kindle app. So it is a user friendly. I can use whenever I want, I can read the stories, I can refer book, I can refer so many articles. This is how the Amazon played a very important role when it comes to the diversification of the business. So their core strength and embracing the customer's driven. So Amazon continues to redefine the boundaries of the success, and they set a very good standard for strategic excellence on the digital era. This is how the Amazon succeeded in the market. So next we have the indirect competitor analysis. So here the entrepreneur should know what are the indirect competitor analysis. Here I have taken an example of Make My Trip. So in this dynamic landscape of the travel and tourism, Make My Trip taken a very good advantage. They entered into the market. So how they entered into the market? Because of a certain strategy. First, it is a digital dominance. So they mainly focused upon SEO. So if I want to book a ticket, so it is easy for me to book the ticket because of for this digitalization. Next, when it comes to the customer-centric approach, so 24/7, this Make My Trip, their philosophy is to what? To have an heart of companies marketing mainly on the customer satisfaction or the client satisfaction. So they started attending the calls and they started taking a feedback from the customers. So it make the customers user-friendly payment and smooth booking process. And this is how the Make My Trip gain the confidence of the customers. When it comes to the data-driven insight, data, it is an new oil for the business. So they started to know the customer feedback. They started knowing the customer behavior. So what they have done, they have given so many options. They have given offers. That is how the Make My Trip succeeded in the business. And next we have this foreign market analysis. Whenever you want to expand your business, not only in this country, but outside the country, you should know who are your competitors. You should know whether the product will succeed or not. And you should give more prominence for the legislation. So these are the things that the entrepreneur should follow. So here, okay, here by mixing of all these 8 analysis, so you can find an opportunity. Once you find an opportunity, quickly you have to develop a value proposition. When you develop a value proposition, you have to plan for the commercialization chain. So then only it is helpful for you to estimate the cost, revenue, cash flows, and the financing need. So remember, not all the market opportunity will get succeeded in the market. That is why the companies invest in different types of research before moving into the new market and making changes to a product. And yes, 6:15, right? It's already 6:28. So by seeing this picture, we will get mouth watering. Yes. So I told you, I will be telling you, not all the business will get succeeded in the market, though you are a king in the business, but sometimes you have to fail. Yes, one such example I will be giving, it is a Maggie. This is सक्सेस क्या है, फेल्यूर के बाद का चैप्टर ही सक्सेस है. So you can see this Maggie, you know, right? Everybody knows what Maggie is. So Maggie, it is an integral part of our childhood. In 1983, both Maggie and the instant noodle were entered into the Indian culture. And Nestle, with a single-handedly, they created 937 crores of the market. And till now, 38 years, they are ruling the market. Though we have the competitors like ITC, we have Unilever, but till now, the Maggie, it is having a share of 60% in the noodle segment. So what made the Maggie to enter into the market? Why Maggie gained such a huge success? So in day back to 1950s, so Japan, they were still recovering of this downfall of World War II. At that time, the GDP of the Japan company was very low. And when it comes to the grocery was very high in the Japan because of the downfall of World War II. They can afford only the noodles. Raymond is a person who have invented this noodle. And with this noodle strategy, so he entered into the US market. Once he entered into the US market, he got a very good success. Raymond, it is a parent company. Parent company, it is a Nissan. So nearly $50 billion of instant noodle market in the Japan, they just conquered in the world. Nestle, they done a fundamental analysis. They started carefully observing the market. They got to know that especially in the instant noodles, are the gold mine in the market. Nestle, they don't want to pressurize to go to the Japanese market. They know that. So Japan, they never entered into the Japan. Why? Because Japan was, at that time, the Japan was not liberalized. And Nestle, they want to create the monopoly. So Nestle, what they have done, this slowly entered into the Indian market in 1983. Okay, how they entered into the into the Indian market? So at that time, we were not that much of Western influenced. We were mainly dependent upon FDI was not that much was good in Indian market. So Nestle, they got to know about the niche profiles. So they have chosen the two stakeholders. One is the customers and one is the consumer. Here, who are the customer? Customer is the mother. And who is the consumer? Consumer is nothing but a child. So customer, a mother who buys a Maggie. Consumer, a child who eats the Maggie. So what has this Maggie has done? So when they entered into the market in 1983, so there are two categories of mother. One is the working mother and second is the homemaker. So when it comes to the working mother, so for especially working mother, so till 6 o'clock she will be working. So once she comes from the office, she wants a rest. Okay, when it comes to the homemaker, so from evening till she cooks the dinner, she need a rest. Okay, so here what has happened? So this Nestle, especially the Maggie, they have taken this as an advantage. Okay, so when it comes to the Maggie, so they have become an opportunistic. So working women, they wanted their children to make or cook themselves. When it comes to the this homemakers, they want to be independent till they cook the dinner. So Maggie come up with the optimistic opportunity. They had a tagline called 2 minutes mein Maggie. So Nestle, they went to the school, they conducted the quiz and they started giving the free hamper products. So, and Nestle, they entered into the market. And this ITC, Nissan and the Unilever, they didn't compete the Nestle. Why? Because so 25 years of impossible of replicability. Till now, if you see Nestle, it is number one because it can control the supply chain end to end. But what has happened to the Nestle in 2015? So yes, because of monosodium glucate, that is a lead content in the Nestle, I mean, especially in the Maggie, it was very high. And Maggie completely disappeared for 5 months. And their market share from 75%, it went to 0%. What this Maggie has done. So Maggie, they came back with a logo called "We Miss You to Maggie" campaign. So where in the brand, they ask the fans to share the memories where they are missing. So that is how the Nestle entered into the market. Okay, they started this Atta Maggie. And when they started this Atta Maggie, when they got certification from the government, so in the Snap deal, 60,000 of Maggie cakes, you can't even believe. So within 50 minutes, within 5 minutes of time, so Maggie Flash was there. They have given the hashtag like Dil ke deal with Maggie. So you can't even believe. So within 10 or 15 minutes, 60,000 Maggie kicks they have sold. Until in 2017, so Maggie, it is number one, and they got 60% of 60% of share, market share. So most of the brand looks on how to penetrate a market. Only a few brand spend on money to find out which product to penetrate. How to versus which market to capture. So whenever you want to capture a market, you have to create the market for yourself. When it comes to the generic product, you have to say, it says you if you try to sell everyone, you will end up with selling no one. This is the specific target to sell to the particular segment. Maggie's strategy is this only. People might forget what you said, but they will never forget what you made them feel. That is how the Maggie succeeded in the market. Don't ever think whenever there is a risk. So you have to succeed in the market. So that is why this is success kya hai? Failure ke baad ka chapter ही success hai. Whenever you get a risk, don't shut down. You have to make another strategy to come up in the life to get succeeded. So next, there is a saying in a market, don't find customers for your product, find product for your customer. So you have this customer validation. When it comes to the customer validation, the purpose, research, procedure, development, and quality. So when it comes to customer validation, feedback plays a very important role. So you can see the this screen. It is all about the Domino's, right? So here this says Domino's. It happens only with pizza. Love at first slice. So creation, dad to best friend, family to jam. So why I'm giving the example of this Domino's? So feedback of the customer validation plays a very important role. Domino's follows certain marketing strategy. So right, Domino's, Domini Pick Pizza. So he is a person who sold to the Thomas in 1960 to 1987. 1992, Domino's entered into the market. So with the logo, you can see here, we have a 3 dots. This 3 dot indicates the franchising. When they initially started, so this is a 3 location. One is Arbo. Second, we have this Pizilan. So these are the 3 franchising. He said, as the franchising increases, I will increase the dot. Now we can see we have more than 17,000 stores. So finally, they end up with the same old logo, that is a 3 dot. And what is the different? I mean, what is the different strategy of this Domino's? The key factor of this Domino's, it is house of innovation. So they got a feedback from the customer saying that whatever the base, the pizza base it is there, it is of a dry. So for that purpose, Domino's for the first time, they have done an innovation. That innovation we call it as in what? The fiber container glass. So now also if you see the how when they prepare the Domino's, you can see the fiber contained glass. So this fiber contained glass make the pizza the somewhat it is in a oil position. So it doesn't make the pizza completely dry. Okay. So and next is the because of the customer feedback, the Domino's invented this cardboard. So packing of the cardboard for the first time. Before that, when they were using the cloth to hand over to the particular customers because they want their pizza to be hot. Now we have this cardboard. For the first time, Domino's only they have introduced this cardboard system. And you can see the delivery boy of the this Domino's, you can see the big box behind him. That also the Domino's have invented this. And that is why the Domino's we called as in what the innovation center. And next, the Domino's we called as in what it is a delivery king. So this is 30 minutes pizza, Naito pizza, it is free. This catchy word, they just ruled the market. Now it is not there because especially in USA, they had so many accident. Because of that, this 30 minutes pizza, Naito pizza free, this option or the caption, they completely banned from the Domino's. And now if you see the Domino's, they have 17,000 plus branches, 90 plus countries, and you can't even imagine their supply. So they supply 30 lakhs plus pizza daily. So the Domino's was running very good. And when it comes to Domino's, I told you it is a center of the innovation. So they have this pizza tracker. Now also, if you order a pizza, you can see the pizza tracker. So this is so where they are preparing the next within how many minutes they will be delivering the pizza. So for the first time, the Domino's they have invented this pizza tracker, and this online pizza also for the first time. Domino's is the only company who has introduced this online pizza. But what has happened to the Domino's in 2009? They, as you know, right, when you get more profit, you focus upon the cost cutting. Domino's went for this cost cutting. So they slightly make some changes in the pizza. So because of that, the pizza tasted very worst. So next what? So people obviously, if you don't like one product, you keep on switch on to other product. So the majority of the Domino's customer, they started switching their product to the Pizza Hut. So for that purpose, Domino made a marketing campaign. They has taken the feedback from the customer. The once they take the feedback from the customer, so the customer started writing negative manner. So this made the Dominoes to convert the negativity of the customer feedback to the positive of positivity. How they have done? They have done because of this, they made changes in the logistic, they made changes in the supply chain, they made complete changes in the recipe. So they were following this pizza recipe since from so many years. They make changes because of what? Generation Z. So they made complete change of the recipe. Because of that, the Domino's succeeded in the market. Gaining the trust in the market, it is very difficult. That's why this says trust is the most expensive thing in the world. That is how the Domino's gained in the market. And this is the best example for customer validation. So whatever the negativity or the negative feedback that they are getting in the market, the entrepreneur or the marketer has to take it in a positive way and they have to succeed in the market. So thank you, everyone. If you have any doubts, you can ask me.
Any questions? In our field, in our domain of digital marketing, we usually say that content is the king. And in all the stations that we are having, all the experts are coming with such a great content that it is really proving to be the king of this faculty development program. Every presentation that has been done up till now, I found that every expert is coming with a lot of new things we are learning in every session. Every slide has a lot to learn. Thank you very much, Professor Akhila, for such an insightful session on market research and analysis. Your expertise has certainly provided us with a deeper understanding of how to identify market opportunities and validate our business ideas. I'm sure everyone has gained valuable knowledge that will be instrumental in our professional journey. Let's give Dr. Akhila a huge round of applause.
Thank you, sir.
Now we move on to our second session of the evening. I'm honored to introduce Dr. Natasha. She is professor at the University of Calicut, Kerala. Dr. Natasha will be sharing her insights on risk management and financial planning, another very important topic in the entrepreneurship field. As entrepreneurs, navigating the complexities of risk and financial planning is crucial for the sustainability and growth of our ventures. So, Dr. Natasha will guide us through assessing potential business risk, implementing mitigating strategies, and making informed financial decisions. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Natasha. So, over to you, Dr. Natasha.
Thank thank you so much. Uh, shall I say, share my screen?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Is it visible? Is my this share screen is visible? Excuse me, is it visible?
Uh, Actually, it's not visible to me. Other participants, can you please tell whether Dr. Natasha, the screen is visible?
Not visible.
Not visible. It
Okay,
is.
okay, I'll do. Akhila has started sharing screen. Maybe is that because of that? Someone is already sharing the screen.
Yes, Professor Akhila, if you can. Yes, now you can share, ma'am. Professor Akhila has stopped
Okay.
sharing her screen.
Yeah, maybe now it's visible. What about now, sir? I hope it's visible now.
Yes, yes, now it is present.
Oh, okay. First of all, thank you very much for giving such an introduction and inviting me to this enthusiastic share some of this related to risk management and the financial planning in entrepreneurship. The best investment you can make as is an investment in yourself, just like Warren Buffett mentioned. The more we earn, the more we earn. That is implication that we all know, but still, I thought to begin with this. Because when with an investment or when we are going to start, take a new or to start a new entrepreneurship, the more what you want to do is to invest in yourself. Because even a bit of knowledge that can increase our the level of understanding, that will be more precious. And then only the earning aspect comes always secondary. The fundamental aim is not just to earn profit over and above that. It's about the power that Warren Buffett always mentioned. Because since due to his success, everyone was asking, what is the key to your success, sir? Everyone will be asking how you gained so much in the stock market. What did you do? So he just mentioned that there's a, even though some tips he gave, and we are all familiar with what is entrepreneurship and not all, but still going through the path in an earlier way, it was just a person who set up a business or business, taking up financial risk in the hope of profit. And then it was Adam Smith who explicitly told that he is an employer, master, merchant, but explicitly considers capitalist. Then comes a detailed definition in 1959 was entrepreneurship is a purposeful activity of an individual or a group of associated individuals undertaken to initiate, maintain, or organize a profit-oriented business for production. Then came a discussion of whether it is a science or whether entrepreneurship is an art, because it was like that. But then in a work, it was mentioned that, I think Peter Drucker, he told this, that entrepreneurship is neither science nor art. It's a practice. It's all about practice. That it has a knowledge base, and knowledge is entrepreneurship means to an end. So what highlight here is regarding the knowledge base of the entrepreneur. And one thing that in most of the thing we tell that nothing is certain but death and taxes. It was a notion that used to be talked everywhere, and everyone quoted that. And in the context of entrepreneurship, it was introduced like nothing is certain but taxes and the risk in their business. See how satirically they introduce such thing. That is, nothing is certain but risk is certain means it's like the two sides of a coin. You cannot view the coin without both sides. It has a head and tail as well. So when you see entrepreneurship in the view of a thing that makes us return, the risk is an inherent element in it, just like any investment. So what is a risk? We're going to a bit of fundamental. What is a risk? In normal way, we know that in everything, whether we do an investment or whether we do a startup, we do have some expectations. Expectation in the sense, in means of return, because return is the ultimate or the basic thing that we expect from any investment. Even if we invest, if I save something, we definitely expect some return to that. So return is the ultimate motive for every investment. That is, in the sense, it's an income from that investment. So sometimes we expect a return and the actual return will vary. So it's a very basic thing that we know. So when you define or when you become more clarity about risk, what we say is that, suppose I expect a return of 10% from company, Infosys or Reliance, say. The possibilities of getting that is 3. We can classify into 3. That is, one outcome can be I get 10% as expected. The other case is that I can get more than 10%. Actual return may be higher. The other case, the third option is that the return may be less than 10%. Why it may go even negative. So some people say that the possibility of, or the possibility that the actual return may be less than the expected return is what we call that risk in any investment or in an entrepreneurship. But because due to that fact that this return is less, makes less is the case when we are hurt more. That is, it's always said that the two emotion of happiness and pain, we know it's not comparable, but still it's said that the pain of losing 1 rupee is more than the happiness that when we gain 1 rupee. It's definite, isn't it? When we gain 1 rupee, we are happy, but our money, when it's going out, we are losing 1 rupee, means that's very painful. So that emotion, definitely the pain has greater significance or greater strength than that happiness. So that's the way we define this risk here. That is, the actual return may less than expected return. But actually, another way, or in true sense, we can say the actual return may vary from the expected return. Any variation can be considered as risk, because we know the stock market. When a higher the deviation, higher will be the risk. So this time when it is going upward, we are happy, but there's no guarantee. Higher deviate from the mean to the upper side, it's equal possibility that it may go down to that side. So high range definitely indicates a risk. So that's a very simple and fundamental definition of risk. When we come to specifically to entrepreneurship and based on the situation, that is, it is a situation that can cause, risk is a situation that can cause smaller profits than expected, or situation that may result with the loss of company's financial or material resources. Not only financial, but material resources. Due to natural causes, the physical resources can damage. It is also covered in the entrepreneurial aspect. Also, the risk means facing the market changes. The market may change at any moment, and that changing, the competition, the new competitors will evolve. Then the technology, definitely, that is a high risk. We install some machines, and when the technology becomes obsolete, means it's a high risk. So the varied aspect of the risk has been covered. When you say about, just look into the types that specifically, I'm going to specifically what the entrepreneurs face. The pure risk, in the sense that is the sure loss. That is definitely a loss. And it's unpredictable. That is pure risk. We cannot predict about what will happen in the future. Definitely, anything is unpredictable. We can assign only probabilities to estimate what is the future due to, because I mean, using various modeling, econometrics, everything we can assess, that is estimate or assign probabilities. We cannot say any model is perfect to predict future. It's impossible. Whether we stay or not, we don't know, then how can we say the model that we create, it will exist or not? So that's a limitation, definitely. But still we can assess. Like we say that a compass is of limited scope for some people, but can you imagine a ship going without a compass? Isn't it just like we say in a planning? So it gives a direction, and at least it gives a direction, and we can go through that. But without a direction, nothing is the same here. We can at least assess or estimate what will happen, or if just a direction we can assess. Otherwise, risks are not at all predictable, we can say. So in this pure risk, we say like when the death happened, like it's certain, then fire or any significant customer is lost, any accident, theft, etc. The other significant risk regarding the business is regarding with the speculation. That is the speculative risk. Every act we do with something speculative. For here, we can say an entrepreneur, when he buys land in expectation that its value will increase. Sometimes it, that is usually land's value will definitely increase. It's only building that depreciate, but still something may happen. So we cannot say ultimately what that's nothing will happen to land in future. That is some land specific area, or some antennas are installed in a particular area. People will definitely not buy. They fear or something may happen. It's in cases, or the land may be weak. We may not know what's hidden in it. It may have some problem, isn't it? So when, hello, am I audible? Okay, so when
I hope there's a bad network. Uh, After Natasha, if you can join again. Hello, everyone. As we can see that Dr. Natasha cannot join. If she connects, then we can continue from where she has left. Can we move on to our third speaker, third session? Ma'am, for the third session, are you available, ma'am? Okay, Dr. Natasha has joined again.
oh, I'm really sorry, the connection got lost somehow. Am I audible
Yes,
now?
ma'am.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
I'm
you are
great.
audible. Please share your screen, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Then the career and the family and social risk that we connected with the entrepreneurship. That is, the career risk means we know that definitely some startups may go well. So what will they do after that? Isn't it? That is a big question. And then the family and social risk in the sense that some changes, sometimes when things happen, our psychological aspect, it changes permanently. So our its relations with the family and the social aspect that are. And the psychic risk is a part of that as well. That is the psychological well-being of the entrepreneurs. Can do some personal permanent damage to the person. That is a failure from it, or some people when their money is lost, they may go some kind of weird thoughts may come, suicidal attempt. We can already statistics show that's higher. So these kind of risks are generally that we do. In a study, it's been pointed out that when entrepreneurs are approached and when they are asked to rank, what kind of risk that they fear most? We can say it's the theft by unknown persons, then fire, and then the wars, then inflation, then bankruptcy. See, and this is the 10 causes we mentioned and how they replied. Statistics shows that. And now we move on to how to manage the risk. The management part, how can we manage the risk? So risk management means it's an integral and an important part of the overall management. And it includes everything that's related with the treatment of risk, in the sense that is what's regarding what will be the risk we will be having, planning about the risk, and what we identify that particular risk which will happen to us. Then we analyze what are the aspects of this risk, and then we create some strategies. And it doesn't end there. It again, we need to continuously monitor. So we can say it's a complete process. And the types usually from the literature and what we see, we can divide into the traditional strategies and the business risk management, a different kind, and also enterprise risk management. In these three types, we can classify the risk management. The difference in the sense is that in the traditional, the focus was on the financial and operational risk, that the internal controls is regarding with the internal control. I think everyone knows about the ultimate finance that is the base of any organization. The operational risk and the financial risk we relate with the leverage concept of the finance. I know you're all faculty, but still I would like to point out that leverage is to lever something, isn't it? That is to lever an effect which will magnify in the outside. We put a small effort, but the effect will be, if that effort will be magnified in its effect. And in finance, what is the leverage happening is definitely we know it's regarding the capital structure when we introduce debt. So when we introduce a debt, which is a tax deductible expense, and debt is a way through which we can raise capital without ownership dilution. So when we have multifold benefit from the debt, when we include that debt in the capital structure, our overall cost of capital is definitely reduced. And the similar leverage we can expect is in the use of the fixed cost in such a way that it will magnify the effect of the sales on the EBIT, earnings before interest and profit. And that is the operating leverage, the use of fixed costs, the firm's ability to use fixed costs to magnify its operating profit for a given sales is operating leverage. And the ability of a firm to use fixed income source like debt, preference capital, etc., to magnify the effect of EBIT on EPS, the earning per share will magnify for a given level of EBIT. That is the financial leverage. And as we both know, that is a double-edged sword. That is a leverage, higher leverage means definitely is beneficial. At the same time, it can step back. So the risk related with this, the operating leverage we call as operating risk, and what related with the financial leverage we call as financial risk. So in the traditional risk management aspect, from the basic theories, the risk management is all about how to determine a fixed cost an optimal fixed cost for an enterprise? And similarly, what is the optimal debt equity mix? How much debt we should include? Too much of something is not good, definitely we know. So whatever should be the proportion? When we say it's easy, but it's very difficult and practical, because that comprise the capital structure, and every decision that we make on the capital structure will be permanent, and sometimes it's irreversible. We cannot change if something happens. So earlier, the traditional risk management aspect related to that only. Then the business risk and internal control, risk by risk approach. Here we stress on each risk separately and emphasize how to confront that, how to treat that, and how to take measures that overcome from occurring such risk. Then enterprise risk means it's in a much more whole sense, not just a business. Here internal control and entity level portfolio view of risk is being also how when this particular company is here, the overall whole portfolio is being considered. That's why the objective was to protect the value of company in case of traditional, to protect the value of company in case of business, to protect and to increase. Here it's not only protecting, but how we can enhance is in that. And the scope, the traditional was limited to the treasure, the security, and the operations. And the business means is a task of the business managers, and they are accountable. And across the company, it was that. And the emphasis, that is the case that we stress more. That is, the emphasis was earlier only on finance and operations. And then it becomes a whole management process, and it's related with the strategy that is taken in the enterprise risk management. Strategy in the sense is a long term, that it's not just a short-term thing that we just plan for tomorrow. It's a long-term point of view that we intend what the enterprise should be in the lifelong. And such a kind of strategical aspect is covered in that. So that is the various levels of risk management. So benefits we all know, that is the treatment of the situations, negative situations. Definitely we can understand what will happen, and we can assess a bit, and then it will reduce such negative consequences. Also, more and more data will be collected, and it will enable the data to know about internal, not only internal, but also external environment, what's happening outside, what are the competitors up to date with the capital market. That action we take in that because we feel risk. Those people may say that entrepreneurship is a startup. Doing startup requires some risk, and they are risk taking. But like any theory, we say the investors usually are risk averse, because we are not taking something artificial risk. We are not taking, just like we do in a gambling, isn't it? In gambling, we can simply say, we can wait at it for, and we can say, if the coming person is a girl, I will pay you 200 crores. So what was the need of creating such a risk? That risk is artificially created. He did not have to create such a situation, isn't it? But the risk in the investment or entrepreneurship business is not like that. It's because the future is uncertain. It's a non-fact. We don't know what will happen tomorrow, but still we have hope that it may happen good, and we are going there. We are not taking anything artificial into our heads. That's the difference. So better data we're getting means we plan about the future in a better sense. And to improve the regulation of the company, it will enable, when we get to the fact only, we can understand what's the loopholes or what are the things that we lack. Then we can understand by analyzing the competitor, by analyzing the whole environment, international environment also. And also to identify and exploit the opportunities in the market. So this is the process in brief sense. This begins with the context definition. What is exactly our problem? Then we identify the risk, then we analyze and evaluate it, and then we treat it, then we monitor and review it continuously. That is a process of risk management. So in the what is our limitation? What we should do, we should not do. Again, before a company, that is, if they say the safety, it should be kept constantly, and the financial impact will be, it must be within the approved budget. The finance should go above that. See, such like we must, entrepreneurs define what context, what is their constraints, everything should be defined. Also the media exposure here, the timing, the time frame should not be overrun at any cost. Then staff management, environment, like that. So once we define the context, then we identify the risk. That is what is the source of that risk? What can happen? Competition or government rules. So what will be the source of risk in the next? Then the impact. That is something that happens as because of that. That the government produces a rule and companies are not able to produce a particular product like that. Then the consequence, that is how that event is making consequence on our company, our entrepreneurship. That is the next thing. And what and why? That is why it changed or why this occurred. We have to analyze. It happened, no. Unless we know the problem, we can find a solution. That's what we do, when we do research projects, when we see research admissions, we are analyze the students no, but there won't be a problem. It's studying like when we see in some social medias, why they mock like the true cause of the pineapple cultivation and the growth in the grass of America. Like that, when you correlate something to different, it will give you a direction. What is the purpose of studying it, isn't it? Garbage in, garbage out. So that's it. So we should analyze ultimately what's the problem. Unless we don't identify the problem, we can identify the solution. So that is the case here. What and why, and then control his level of efficiency. What is his control and his level of efficiency we should undertake. And then at the time when and where it happened, that is that much detailed analysis or identification of risk is done. Analysis we do into further in the next stage. That is in the analysis in the sense, we usually measure this or the evaluate on the basis of this formula. That is, what are the consequences and what the likelihood to happen. And we multiply it is the most common method. So we can classify as irrelevant. That is, it doesn't change or impact any kind of impact the company. And some minor means definitely minor. Then moderate means it's sufficient enough. It is, but it can be major is the very good, and significant means it may fail in achieving its goals. So when we classify the consequences like this and the likelihood of occurring that risk, likelihood is how much with what certainty can happen, that likelihood. That is almost certain means it's 95 to 100% we can say. And it's likely to happen means it's 70 to 90%. And if is between 30 to 70, and it's unlikely means 5 to 30%, and it's very rare, anything less than 5, we can say any rare. So when we analyze, we find both, and when we put into metric, you can see that when you get in this 1, 2, 3 here, this area is a low, then the moderate, high risk, and 20, is critical, very critical. This is the way we can, the one way we can analyze and then evaluate based on that. Then treatment options, we can identify what we will treat. Then we can make a treatment plan. Otherwise, still there is risk is remaining. That is, there is residual risk that is not under the control of us. We need to do rework again to how to treat this risk. And many treatment options usually in the business, startups, mention is like that. Some can be, we can avoidance in the sense, it's not that when we avoid it, that we avoid with proactive measures. That is when you speak of ragging in colleges, isn't it? People say, for a limit it's good, but after a limit it is bad. How can we differentiate, or how can we say that? Create a situation and we say that some after you do not cross a limit means what is a limit? Limit will differ for different people. That's why we say that do not create a situation, ragging prohibited. So when we create a situation, we don't know how to ego, complex will be created. Such things happen, isn't it? So risk avoidance means taking proactive measures so that such will not arise at all. Then risk reduction is to minimize, like to assess from the how to because when fire happen, we can install fire alarm so that some may give alarm. That time we can escape, something like that. And anticipation means in literature, it's like a self-insurance strategy. That is will happen and we can ensure something. Then risk transfer means we transfer something to the third party. That's like we do insurance. That means in case, even if it happens, the risk acceptance means we are tolerating. That is, if it is not consequential, we treatment is like whatever damage happened, we will treat it and move on. This is a company that is an example, a case study I took from a company and how they made it, how they monitor. They plan made that the contact information they down, then their risk register, that is serial number 123, they have made, that is their risk dimension regarding the cyber security. Security, then the financial aspect, then legal aspect. How detailed they have taken this. Then they began to treat, protect the cyber attack, the antivirus software, firewall, and then the case study. And regarding with the law, they plan with the reviewing every law, consulting with the lawyers and like that. And the statistical techniques we now have available. Descriptive statistics means the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, the range, the skewness. We can plot if it is a stock price, we can plot it and we can understand the volatility, the fluctuation it happens, whether it's negatively, positively skewed, whether it's not a normal distribution, whether it's stationary or not, whether there is a trend in the market. Like the inferential, we infer from that and to generalize about that. Regression, we can regress between two variables and we can predict about that. In that way, we can beta, we can use, and based on that, whether the market is dependent on individual shares. And the simulation, it is a creation of artificial environment. It's very helpful field of medical, the operations they do with the simulation. That is, they know when they cut the vein in the computer, they can know the patient died, means they know, they will be very careful. They can do practice with the simulation technique. More and more advanced things are there. Rather than taking it to the patient, they do practice. So such kind of development is now happening. The machine learning, using machine learning languages, AI, algorithms, we can foresee many things and we can treat it as. And how can we financial planning in entrepreneurship means? A financial plan is very significant for any business. So it's a comprehensive study that outlines how a business intends to manage finance so that it can achieve its objectives. So the purpose is to ensure that all the financial operations, that resources are operating very efficiently and they have the growth opportunities and they will sustain. That is a term that we know. Okay, sustainability. In earlier classes, when we used to study in our childhood, isn't it? I think that what is sustainable development? We should develop, that is by catering to the needs of the future. But now we know, isn't it, what that exactly means? It's very difficult. The resources are depleting. So to save for the future is very significant, what we know now more clearly. So any development or any plan without sustainability is of no use. We cannot call it as a development. So that sustainable part, that strategic part is. So it's a roadmap based upon which. So what an entrepreneur do is regarding the financial plan is such a detailed breakup component should do. That is investment decision. A pro forma should be made in the sense what all projects will be there and which one we should select based on numerous techniques we have, advanced techniques we have to. Then the financing, how should be our capital structure based on the cost of capital that we are raising. Every decision when we fail there is very significant. So whether it's investment or financing is very significant. Then comes once the company started, then the income statement, it should be transparent. The course of corporate governance now calls for, isn't it? The transparency, accountability, ultimate to the owners. So that is wherever the gap between the managers and the owners come, problem arises. Right from what Shakespeare told in the Merchant of Venice, isn't it? Antonio watched his fortune go away with the others. That pain is there. When we do something, owners do something, that's something else. But in a company, we know that all owners, we all are shareholders of some companies. We cannot go and manage so managers will do. And there happens the conflict, and there comes the issue of corporate governance. So the income statement should be very transparent without any kind of window dressing, and ultimately we are accountable to the shareholders. That thing is highlighted. Cash flow is very important because in we know that in accounting it's based on accrual concept, while cash flow is on cash only concept. So cash concept is very significant. Then balance sheet, the break-even analysis, many decision like cost volume profit analysis, but no profit, no loss point. That is whether we should move forward or step back or just hold, stay with what position is based on the break-even analysis. And the economic and other social variables. What are the variables that are affecting our company? That is, each company it will differ, but some common thing we can understand. But according to each company, they have to make such a detailed plan regarding their financial. And the financial forecasting is the last point that I would like to mention here. Because forecasting, as I earlier mentioned, we know it's not possible to predict or forecast exactly what will happen in the future. But we can assign some probabilities. We will face what will come tomorrow. It's not good, especially in case of business. We have to forecast regarding, and then we need to start. Everything should be made in the beginning as well. So it's based on the use past financial data is the only data we have, the past data and the market trends, so that we can make assumptions about the future. Even Warren Buffett once said that if you see something happening in the same trend for 17 years, you cannot expect it that happen in the next year. That is the case of the capital market. But still, we can make some prediction. And the historical data is significant. Like we say that in technical analysis, history tends to repeat itself. The various schools of thoughts we have in investment. That is, people say that we cannot step into the same river twice, isn't it? Because once we step into the river, the next moment, the water will be gone. We can never. But technical analysts say history tends to repeat. That is based on the past, we can predict the future. So some kind of, I'm not saying 100%, but we can. Then forward-looking projections, then cash flow, expense we can forecast, then scenario planning, we can like what are the scenarios that can happen and we can plan based on that. And finally, we can do when the risk happens, contingency, what are setup we can do, like a law, everything, lawsuits, then some crisis management things. Every time we have to be ready of. So this is a crust that I would like to mention. Hope I could make it in the time. Sorry for the delay and interruptions. If you have anything to ask, you may.
Any questions? Please, you can ask. Dr. Natasha is available. You can also ask later on if some question comes to your mind. Thank you very much, Dr. Natasha, for your very comprehensive presentation on risk management and financial planning. Your session has provided us with invaluable strategies to navigate financial uncertainties and ensure the sustainability of our business. I'm confident that everyone has been benefited greatly from your expertise. Let's give Dr. Natasha a huge round of applause. And now we move on to our third speaker for today. It is my privilege and honor to introduce Dr. Deepika Chaudhary. She is professor at K.R. Mangalam University, Haryana. And Dr. Deepika will be addressing the topic of assessing and mitigating business risk. In this session, will gain the skills to identify potential risk and learn strategies to mitigate them, ensuring the stability and resilience of our entrepreneurial ventures. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Deepika Chaudhary. So over to you, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much for welcoming me here. So let's start our topic today, which is basically about, like, Natasha ma'am has just given us very valuable points regarding the risk management. So we are gonna talk about assessment of risk and mitigation of risk, and basically business risk, or we can say financial risk. I hope you all are aware about financial risk. So let me share my screen. So basically, if we talk about financial risk, then there are two kind of risk, basically systematic risk and unsystematic risk. Okay, I hope you all are aware of the systematic risk and unsystematic risk. Basically, the systematic risk are those risks which are associated with the system, and unsystematic risk are which may be of industry specific or area specific. So if I give you an example of systematic risk, then we can look for demonetization. So because when demonetization happened, it actually impacted each and every one of the country, each and every member of the country, whether industries or organizations, everything. So this is all about our financial risk. Now, how we assess these risks, or how should we mitigate these risks? We will talk about specifically business risk. So business risks are of three types, which are financial risk, operational risk, and compliance risk. Okay, so let's go ahead and explain all these risks with you. So basically, what are the financial risks? So financial risk, as I hope you all know, that how can we protect our financial risk occurring due to market conditions or liquidity issues or lack of funding. These are actually our financial risk, and it can impact a company's ability to meet these financial obligations and affect profitability. So I'm gonna just share some of the financial risk. Some companies which were which were not capable to meet with these risks. So to overcome these risks. So we all are aware that 2008's financial crisis is the most popular financial crisis of the world, which has impacted each and every economy of the world. So, and that specific crisis happened, there are some companies, I will talk about some companies which were not able to understand these financial risks and overcome these financial risks. So one of these is our Lehman Brothers company. So it was a investment banking sector. So what happened with Lehman Brothers, that they issued they were involved in subprime mortgages, and they issued lots of subprime mortgages to the people that they were not even able to recover those amount, and all the result of that was the crisis of 2008, because it was such a big investment company which was involved in providing loans to different stakeholders or different, the whole economy was shattered because of this crisis. So why did it happen? Because they were not able to understand these financial risks. If you are giving subprime mortgages in excess amount, not even taking care of your repo rates or reverse repos and every other aspects of these things, then you'll have to suffer from financial risk. So we need to know how can we overcome these risks. So first of all, it is the most important thing that when we prepare our company, we should be aware of the specific kind of risk which are associated with our companies. There are, so let's talk about some other companies also. So there is Enron 2001, it happened in 2000, this crisis happened in 2001. So why did it happen? Again, they were not able to manage their marketing risk effectively. So it had to also suffer from the downfall because of not able to managing these risks. Even the company Kodak, which is a industry from photography, and it also had to suffer many financial changes due to technological advancement. We know that technologies change day by day. We were suddenly we were using iPhone 14 2 or 3 months back, and after some time we had 15, and same thing with your other technological equipments like laptops. So technology get old day by day, and for meeting such challenges we need to employ such changes or flexibilities in our overall capital structure. We can say that capital structure or investing, there are many things which can um, limit our financial risk also. So these were some companies which had to suffer due to their non your incapabilities of handling such risk. So moving forward, this all was about our financial risk. So if anyone have any question, you can ask me about financial risk, we can discuss it, and then we'll move forward. So our other kind of business risk is operational risk. So operational risk is, again, it can happen due to inadequate or failed internal processes, systems, or people. Sometimes people are also major part, or we can say that stakeholders or our each and every person involved in our company are most important for us. So we need to know how can we manage these system risk or internal process risk or inadequate or failed internal processes. So this risk can cause disruption in business operations and impact efficiency, again, also the customer satisfaction. So for operational risk, there is a famous case of Arthur Anderson, and it was an accounting firm basically related to accounting industry, and one of the big five accounting firm, the most famous big accounting firm, and it was dissolved because of Enron scandal. So why did this scandal became so famous? Because of inadequate audit controls and ethical standards. Okay, so there were some processes, or they were even charged due to charge of criminal offenses because of some adequate audit controls. So I hope you must be aware of going through the compulsory audit or statutory audits. So we need to go for these audits time to time, and this operational risk is a factor where this Arthur Anderson accounting firm was totally shattered due to its these scandals. And again, there are one or two more interesting examples also. So there was a company named BP, and it was oil and gas company basically. And while running their operations, there was a spillage of oil, which actually subsequently, you know, was given a um, explosion. So because of this oil spillage, there was a huge explosion, and that spillage was because of their operational inefficiency. They were not able to manage or control over these over their specific operations, due to which the spillage happened, and that is converted into a huge explosion. So it was a it this incident also resulted in massive financial losses and large penalties and damage to BP's reputation. And thereafter, the company was uh, struggled a lot, and it had to suffer many other legal penalties also. So it was again, why did it happen? It was again happened due to their operational inefficiencies. So we can move forward towards our third risk, which is compliance risk. So I think all of you are aware of compliance risks. In each and every field, we need to um, maintain some specific ethics, or we need to maintain some specific compliance which are given by regulatory authorities. If we go for some example, then we can say that it is compulsion to have specific fire extinguishers in a company, in a, whether it's any industry. You need to have fire extinguishers, and you need to have uh, for compliance of corporate social responsibilities. We, each in every company has to adopt some area, or even in their own premises, they need to maintain some greenery. So these are all different kind of compliances. Okay, so we also know that uh, while if there are some, for example, we talk about small compliances in our daily routine life, then we can think about if there is a school nearby, then there would be signals or signs on the road that school is ahead, you need to drive slowly, or there are speed breakers. So there are many such compliances uh, which are also applicable to our businesses. So maintaining these compliances is also statutory, because the regulatory authorities or government, or all regulatory development authorities poses these compliances on us. So we need to maintain these compliances. In case of non-compliance of the legal um, the legal aspects or the legal conditions, we can suffer these from this compliance risk. So we just talked about Arthur Anderson case. In this case, it was also um, it also fall under compliance risk also. So Arthur Anderson was also issued or there was a penalty was imposed on it due to non-compliances also. So because as they were involved in it was an accounting firm, and there were not adequate audit controls. So audit control is also a compliance risk. While it's an operational risk for some company, it is also a compliance risk for the company, for any other company. So they were they were also imposed with the penalty for not compliancing, for the non-compliance of the regulatory authority, because they were not conducting the audits properly. So in this category also, they were there were some penalties were imposed on Arthur Andersen. And again, when we talk about these compliance risks, we can talk about Volkswagen, which was 2015. It was a major case on Volkswagen, because there were some proofs were found that they have uh, some engine test, emission test, and it was found that there were some cheat emissions tests, so they were not able to maintain the emissions. I hope you all are aware that we are using BS6 now, and earlier we were having BS4. So while we shift, okay, so we need to make compliance again. There is a compliance procedure. Each and every car or a vehicle which were of BS4 is now not available in the market, because the government has imposed a restriction on it. The automotive companies have stopped manufacturing BS4 engine cars, because this is again the compliance of our government, which we need to follow. So now in our market, there are BS6 engines cars available only. So many cars manufacturing was stopped due to these things. So there are many other compliances also. Are in automotive industry, the engine needs to pass several tests, and in those tests it was found that they were cheating some emission test. Means the emissions were larger than they mentioned. So because of this issue, they were fined, and penalties were imposed, and legal cost was also included in it. And of course, when any of these companies uh, got any kind of such risk, their reputation is impacted. So while the reputation is impacted, our stakeholders interest is also impacted. So compliance risk is another risk which we need to consider while taking any steps regarding our business. Okay, so these were all the business risks we were talking about. And moving forward, we can see that this is the business risk assessment stages I have mentioned. So the first stage is always data collection, gathering relative informations, or internal quantitative data or qualitative data. So first step is gathering informations or data collection. Second is risk assessment. After collecting the data, we can analyze whether the risk is inherent, or it can be controlled, or we can reduce risk or residual risks. Okay, so and then risk response. After assessing the assessment of risk, we can take an action plan on how should we control this risk, or how should we reduce, okay, or increasing resources, or introducing new controls, or enhancing existing controls. Okay, then adopting BRA, or business risk assessment. So after action plan, senior management can assess or align with these action plans also. And at last, monitoring. After making all the changes or required steps to follow, we can monitor whether it was whether the updating the information annually and based on new developments or internal or external measures. We can check that whether after doing so many things, are we able to control our risk or not? We can monitor it. So these were all the risks associated with any business. And now let's talk about mitigation strategies. So while we talk about mitigation strategies, how can we reduce the business risk associated with our specific industry or our specific business or our specific company or area? So how can we mitigate these risks? So first strategy is risk transfer. So risk transfer is, what does it mean? Risk transfer involves shifting the financial burden of a risk to another party. Typically, through insurances, contracts, or outsourcing, it helps in reducing the impact of certain risk on the business. So, if we talk about some examples, so we can say that uh, we can take an example of Vodafone and Idea. So, these companies, Idea and Vodafone, were both were having some issues or were not able to run their business solely because of some risks were included there. So they just decided to come up together so that some of their risks are transferred, and we can even go for such kind of strategies like mergers or amalgamations. So these strategies may fall under this category also. So under this category, we just need to transfer our risk, and we can transfer it through insurance, or this was Vodafone and Idea was an example of contracts. So this is how we can transfer our risk. Next is risk avoidance. So sometimes there might be some activities or processes in which you are suffering more risk. So you can bypass those activities by either involving third party, which is very good or which have a good benchmark in that specific activity. So we can involve in such uh, such arrangements that we can avoid our risk. So if my company is running beautifully and very nice, so maybe there are some processes or activity in which we are suffering from some losses, or some we have low efficiency in some processes. So we can add somebody to our venture, so which is good in that specific area. For example, we can again take an example of some company which is involved in manufacturing of shoes. Okay, so for example, Bata company is involved in manufacturing shoes and selling these shoes. And if we take Hush Puppies was not having a good market in Indian economy. So they went to Bata because they were having more stores in the economy. They just went to Bata that please, we have not that great logistic support here in this specific area. And Bata from their outlet started selling Hush Puppies shoes also. They can have any arrangements of having any kind of in any kind of money, or they might have some kind of contract or some percentage basis ventures. So through this we can avoid our risks. So first was risk transfer, and second was risk avoidance, and third is risk reduction. And how can we explain risk reduction? And now risk reduction may involve, if Tata is a company involved in manufacturing many of the products, we find out that one of our product is not having good sales in the market, and we need to make huge investment on that specific product. So we can find out through ABC analysis or something. We can find out that that product is not having a good market. It's not being sold as we're producing it. It's not sold in the market. So we may cut that product down, and we may increase the production of some other product which is actually getting more popularity in the market. So through these strategies, we can reduce our risk. So these are our risk reduction strategies. And there are many companies which are actually uh, adopting these mitigation strategies. If you will uh, Google, or if you will search about these companies, there are Apple, and there is Apple, Coca-Cola, and there are many other companies which are using these mitigation strategies to reduce their risk. Okay, okay, so as I mentioned earlier, this we just can go ahead and find out through cost benefit analysis. In this we can just our first is assessment criteria. We can find out the cost of producing the goods, or cost of benefit analysis also includes evaluating the cost of implementation of risk mitigation strategies against the expected benefits. So while opting for these mitigation strategies, we can find out the cost of such strategy which we are going to implement. Like we just took an example of VI, Vodafone and Idea when they merged. How much was the cost for merging, or how much profit they were going to expect after their merging? Because telecom industry was facing lots of challenges because new players were coming. There's like Geo, so they were offering lots of benefits to the consumers. So Idea and Vodafone have just, when they started their business as a merger, they might have gone through all these processes. For example, cost benefit analysis. They might have considered the cost for such mergers and how much benefit they are going to attain. We can say that while making capital budgeting, or while deciding for various projects, we also go for, again, for cost benefit analysis. We say that how much our cash outflows are, how much our inflows will be. So there is proper calculation of these, and we can find it out through it. And risk prioritization, of course. So prioritizing risk based on their potential impact and likelihood aids identifying which risk unique immediate mitigation. So we can identify basically which risk basically needs the immediate attention. So we can prioritize our risk. How should I follow this risk mitigation technique depends on our prioritization, which risk I need to control at first. So we can prioritize our risk, and we can take the action likewise. Okay, and after that, taking all the considerations, we can take decisions. So this was all from my side. And at last, I would like to ask you guys a simple question. I hope you might have heard about this case where Cristiano Ronaldo just replaced the bottle of Coca-Cola with a water bottle. Okay, so what do you think this risk was associated with? Which kind of risk it is for the company? Because the Coca-Cola share went down and they had to suffer huge losses due to this specific incident. So what do you think? What was it? It's okay, you don't need to answer me. Just go for an answer, just try to find out which risk was it and how was it associated with our business. Okay, sir, that's all from my side.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Any questions you have? Please go ahead. Ma'am is here. And every day you have to give the feedback, as well as that feedback will be used for as a attendance also, because certificate has to be provided, and attendance each day is required for that. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your very enlightening session on assessing and mitigating business risk. Your guidance on developing contingency plans and implementing measures to minimize risk have been incredibly valuable. I'm sure everyone here appreciates the depth of knowledge you have shared. Let's give a big round of applause to Dr. Deepika. And so 3 days are done today. Tomorrow, again, we are meeting at the same time. And there are two sessions lined up for tomorrow. Dr. Pradeep, professor at the Rajgiri College of Social Sciences, Kerala, will be addressing legal and regulatory aspects of entrepreneurship. And then Dr. Ipsita Nanda, she'll be discussing building and managing startup teams. So these are the two upcoming presentations coming up. Very good evening to all of you. Let's meet tomorrow. Thank you very much.